All right, you are tuning in for another deep dive, and this one, yeah, buckle up. You sent us a pretty intense Reddit thread from RBU Updates. We're going to unpack this whole situation.
Indeed. It's quite a story, a very personal thing playing out, publicly online, like following a digital trail as things go wrong.
Totally. So let's paint the picture. We've got a husband, he's 27, and his wife, 28. They're college sweethearts, married almost 6 years. And they have a little girl, 4 years old. Sounds, pretty standard life stuff.
Right. Seems normal on the surface, but these are often the situations where things can bubble up, underlying issues.
Okay, so here's the twist. The wife goes on this week-long work retreat in Vegas. Now, usually the husband tags along. They make a mini vacation out of it.
Ah, okay.
But this year, he couldn't. Their daughter, the 4-year-old, was having really bad travel anxiety. So he stayed home, held down the fort.
So he's home with the kid.
Yeah, and this trip was actually supposed to be like a chance for them to reconnect afterwards. Their work's been crazy, super demanding.
Right. So there's maybe some expectation built up around this trip, even though he's not there.
Yeah.
Like she comes back refreshed, maybe.
Exactly. But, things start getting weird even before she gets back. The husband notices she's being distant, ignoring texts, rushing phone calls, even when he calls with their daughter. And here's a big one. They promised their daughter a special FaceTime call for her birthday because the dates overlapped.
Oh, no. Don't break a birthday promise to a 4-year-old.
Right. But she bailed.
No.
She said she had colleagues in her room after a seminar or something. That's tough. What's that signal to the husband, you think?
Yeah, that's definitely a red flag.
Yeah.
I mean, work stuff over your kid's birthday call, it suggests maybe her priorities shifted or, like you said, something else is going on that took precedence. You got to wonder.
Totally. And then, naturally, he looks at her social media.
Of course. The modern investigation tool.
Yeah. And it's flooded with retreat pictures, videos, and there's this one guy, a male coworker, 23, constantly right there with her, attached at the hip.
Younger guy.
Yeah. And the husband mentions one photo where the guy's arm is around her, like too comfortably. Plus, there's history here. The same coworker texted her before, saying she was exactly the kind of woman he needs to keep him in check.
Whoa. Okay. That's not subtle.
She just brushed it off back then, said, oh, he's new, just trying to fit in, felt bad for him. But looking back now, that text feels different, right?
Oh, absolutely. In hindsight, that's not awkward camaraderie. That sounds like boundary pushing, maybe some early stage flirting, testing the waters, especially from a coworker. It plants a seed for sure.
No doubt. Okay, so then the day before she's supposed to fly home, she texts him about a bruise on her neck, says it's a bug bite.
A bug bite on the neck, okay.
Seems innocent enough, maybe. But then she gets home, he sees the mark, and his immediate thought, not a bug bite, it's a hickey.
Oof. That's a visceral difference. Bug bite versus hickey. Very different implications.
Huge difference. What does that do psychologically? She says one thing, the evidence screams another.
Well, it shatters trust instantly, right?
Yeah.
You've got her words, and then you've got what your eyes are telling you. Creates this major conflict in his head, this cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
And just plants serious doubt.
Right. And he confronts her, tries to talk about it, but she digs in her heels. It's a bug bite. Gets super defensive, even uses her family history with infidelity as a reason he shouldn't accuse her.
Deflection, turning it around.
Totally. Leads to a massive fight, they hit a wall, and then the next few days, she's suddenly wearing turtlenecks. And Vegas weather aftermath, come on.
Not exactly subtle.
And her mood is all over the place, snapping at him one minute, then being overly affectionate the next. What's going on there?
That sounds like classic guilt behavior mixed with maybe fear. Defensiveness when confronted, then trying to smooth things over with affection to like compensate or distract. And the turtlenecks.
Oh.
Well, that's just hiding the evidence, isn't it?
Pretty much. So that's kind of where the first Reddit post leaves off.
Yeah.
But spoiler alert, it doesn't end there. A week passes, things are bad.
Worse than turtlenecks and mood swings.
Oh, yeah. He's moved into the guest room. They're basically not talking. And their little girl, she can tell something's wrong. Kids always know.
Always. They pick up on that tension.
Then, one night, the wife goes to him, finds him in the guest room, tears the whole thing, and she finally confesses. What's the timing there tell you? Going to him in the guest room.
It suggests maybe the weight of it just became too much. The guilt, seeing the impact on him, on their daughter, maybe just broke through. Coming to his space, the guest room, that symbolic space of their separation, it shows a certain level of desperation, perhaps, or maybe just hitting rock bottom.
And it's a bombshell. She admits it. She hooked up with the coworker.
Wow.
And guess when? On their daughter's birthday.
Oh, man. That's that's brutal. The birthday promise makes so much more sense now. Or rather, the broken promise.
Exactly. And the bug bite, definitely a hickey from the coworker. Her story is they were making out some on top of the clothes stuff, then he went down on her.
Okay, so pretty specific details.
Yeah, but she says it stopped suddenly because he used the husband's nickname for her. That apparently snapped her back to reality.
Whoa, the nickname. That's incredibly intimate. And for the coworker to use it, that suggests this wasn't just a one-off physical thing. There was some level of emotional connection or familiarity there already. It's crossing a really deep line.
Definitely feels that way. She claims she was furious at the coworker about the hickey, says he joked it was a souvenir.
Charming.
Right. She says she kicked him out. And her avoiding the husband, the distance, all guilt, and her reason for the whole affair.
Here we go. What's the justification?
Not really about the coworker, she says, not even about being unhappy in marriage necessarily, but she felt broken, like she was repeating her father's patterns. He was apparently a workaholic, cheated.
The family history angle. It's complex. People can be influenced by those patterns.
But it's still a choice, right? That's what the husband basically says. He points out, you made these decisions you could have stopped.
Absolutely. Family history might provide context, some understanding maybe, but it doesn't remove personal responsibility. She still made those choices.
So she apologizes, says she'll do anything, quit the job, report to HR, counseling, whatever he wants. But the husband, he's just numb, says he doesn't even recognize her anymore, feels like he's lost his wife.
That's a common feeling after betrayal.
Yeah.
Like the person you thought you knew is gone.
Yeah. And he decides they need to separate. So she moves out, goes to her parents' place and their daughter. She's told mommy is just really busy with work right now. How does that usually land with kid that young?
It's tough. Even if you try to shield them, they sense the disruption, the absence, the tension. It can cause confusion, anxiety. They know something is different, even if they don't know what. Consistent reassurance is key, and professional help like play therapy is a really good idea.
Which they do get to. Okay, so fast forward a bit. Separation is happening. They've told their daughter something simple, but he notes she's acting differently with her mom during visits. More distant.
Understandable. Change is hard for kids.
Meanwhile, the wife is really pushing for reconciliation. I love you. I want to fix this. Let's work on it. She gives more detail, too, about how it started with the coworker. Feeling sorry for him, he was near. Then his flirting felt good when work was stressful.
The ego boost.
Yeah, led to an emotional affair, which then tipped over into physical in Vegas. Is that a common path? Emotional first, then physical.
Very common. That emotional intimacy builds, boundaries blur, especially when you're maybe stressed or away from home, like a work retreat. That external validation can feel really powerful if you're feeling vulnerable.
Then another gut punch. She admits she was wearing her wedding ring when it happened.
Oh, wow. That adds another layer of disrespect, betrayal. It's deeply symbolic.
Yeah, the husband was crushed by that. So on her end, she says she changed her number, cut contact with the coworker. She did report it to HR.
Okay, so she followed through on that part.
Yeah, both she and the coworker got suspended. There's an investigation now, apparently looking into power dynamics, favoritism, that kind of thing. The husband, though, he has zero interest in talking to the coworker.
Understandable, his focus is elsewhere.
Right, on their daughter, mainly. He's agreed to marriage counseling, but explicitly not for reconciliation, more for figuring out healthy co-parenting. And he's doing individual therapy. Their daughter is still withdrawn with mom, so he's got her started in play therapy.
That all sounds like very responsible steps, focusing on the child and his own healing.
But he keeps coming back to this feeling. The trust is just gone. He feels like a different person. Can you talk about that? Losing trust, losing your sense of self?
It's profound. Trust is the bedrock of a relationship like that. When it's shattered, especially through infidelity, it's traumatic. You question everything, the past, your judgment, the other person. Feeling like you don't know your partner anymore often leads to feeling like you don't know yourself within that context either. It's a deep grief, a loss of the reality you believed in.
Makes sense. Okay, latest update is just a few days after that. Therapy update. He's going, she's going, daughter's in play therapy. Apparently the wife even started journaling, which he seemed surprised by.
Journaling can be a tool for self-reflection. Could be positive.
Maybe. But then their anniversary comes up. They had big plans, obviously, before Vegas happened, all scrapped. The wife actually wanted to still spend the day together.
Oh, even with everything going on.
Yeah, but the husband said no, he just couldn't. Said he didn't have the capacity for that kind of emotional intimacy or connection right now, needed to process it alone. What's that decision tell you?
It shows how deep the wound is. Anniversaries are powerful dates. For him to need solitude instead of even attempting to connect on that day,
Hmm.
it underlines the severity of the breach and his need for space to grieve and figure things out on his own terms. It's a boundary-setting moment.
He reflects on it too, missing her as his friend, his partner, this feeling of their whole life just being yanked away and feeling stuck in that pain while everyone else just moves on.
That's a very real part of grief, that sense of isolation, like your world stopped while the rest keeps spinning.
He also mentioned some background stuff, cultural differences. She's Korean, and apparently her dad's side of the family wasn't thrilled initially, wanted her to marry someone Korean. The father-in-law was tough.
So there were initial hurdles.
Yeah, though it got better after their daughter was born. The mother-in-law was always supportive, though. He brings it up, maybe just reflecting on everything they'd built despite challenges. How might that history play into things now, even indirectly?
Well, sometimes overcoming external obstacles like that can really forge a strong bond. You feel like us against the world. But underlying tensions, even if managed, can add stress. The fact they did navigate that makes the current betrayal feel perhaps even more jarring, like the foundation they fought to build was undermined from within. It adds another layer to the sense of loss.
So, wrapping this whole saga up, we started with the suspected Hickey disguised as a bug bite.
Led to a confession of infidelity on a work trip, specifically on their child's birthday.
Yeah, triggering this massive fallout, separation, the impact on their daughter, everyone needing therapy. It's a lot.
It really underscores how fragile trust can be and how devastating betrayal is. The consequences just ripple outwards, affecting the couple, the child, their whole sense of family. It shows the messy reality of human choices and the repercussions.
And the future. Totally uncertain. He's focused on their daughter, taking it one day at a time. Reconciliation, divorce. It's all just a question mark right now.
Absolutely. Rebuilding after something like this is a monumental task, if it's even possible. It forces you to confront really hard questions about forgiveness, commitment, and what healing actually looks like.
Which kind of brings us to our final thought for you listening. Thinking about this whole story, this specific situation, what does it really take to even start rebuilding trust after a betrayal this deep? It's clearly more than just an apology, right?
Oh, much more. It requires consistent, demonstrated changes in behavior, genuine remorse, transparency, accountability, and even then, there's no guarantee.
So, what are those fundamental things, those shifts that might offer even a sliver of hope? Not necessarily for getting back together, but just for finding a healthy way forward for everyone involved. Something to chew on. Thanks for diving deep with us.